Hello everyone, lovely for you to join me today. I'm up in Kempshott at my house. As you all know, my exhibition should have been opening today, but we all know the reason why it's been postponed or cancelled, for now anyway. So I thought I'd like to give you a little walkthrough of some of the pieces that I prepared working on this exhibition. If I can get it to turn round. Forgive me if this is a bit clunky, it's the first live one I've done. Where's the turnaround thing? There we go. So this is a pelican. This one's called Pelican Soaring. It's 4 feet wide here, and it really makes a difference to the surface of the texture of the paint when it goes on. So you can see there's some lovely textures in there. So this is 4 feet wide and 31 inches high. Hello to all of you watching. It's lovely to see all your names popping up. I don't think I can do an answer to everybody as I'm walking around, but it's lovely to see your names. Thank you. So here's another pelican. I've done a series of pelicans. They started taking over my life a couple of weeks ago. So here's the one. This is called Pelican Approach, and it was a much softer grey day, and the pelican was coming down to land on the water. This one is 18 by 24 inches high, so 2 feet. And there's some interesting colours and textures in the bird itself. Pan back again so you can see the full thing. Again, acrylic on canvas, and it's a box canvas so that you can hang it as it is, just on the wall without framing it. Okay, moving right along, we're going to move round to another pelican. I think this one is probably my favourite pelican. Here we go. And as you can see, is another 4 foot wide pelican. This one is called Pelican Landing. My friends and I had a lovely day out on the beach on the south coast about a year ago. And the south coast has black and brownish kind of sand on the beaches. So it has a different atmosphere, and it's very wild and windy and unkempt. And the pelicans were all swooping around and playing, and it was just gorgeous. So this pelican, again, has a lot of texture in it. 4 foot wide and 31 inches high. Okay, moving on. By the way, if you want to look at any of these again, you can go to my website, and there's a link for available inventory. And if you search the collection called Rising Tide is the name of the exhibition, then you'll find all of them put there together. This is a nice little series that I did. This is mixed media, though it's basically watercolour with a few added extras. You can see there's a lot of detail in here and texture. They're on paper and framed with a double matte in these lovely pristine white frames. There's a set of 4, and you could hang them together side by side like this, or you could make a square. Sorry, my reflection's in the way. These are called rock pools, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the size of these frames is 12 inches by 16 inches high. Moving on, I did another whole series of small pieces range. So these are the more abstract pieces. They're still inspired by the sea. You can see that there's a lot of sand colours, like the foamy sea, waves coming in, blue sky, blue sea, Caribbean blues. This is another set of 4 that can be hung as a square. They don't have to be bought as a set. If you really fall in love with one and you want them separately, I can sell them separately. Yeah, that's 4. These ones are called Blue Sea Abstract. Set of 4. And these are 12 inches square, the outer edge of the frames. Okay, some more little ones. These are put on the table, so it may be harder to see, I'm not sure. This series of 4 here is called Reef Abstracts, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can see some of them are vertical and some horizontal, but they've been framed so that in actual fact, if you prefer them another way round, you could turn them and they'll still look good in the set another way up. These little pieces have a lot of texture. They're created with gesso and watercolour and some acrylic paint. You get all these lovely effects happening in the gesso. Okay, sorry, the reflections there, it's not good. And the last set of squares like that is called these are seashore images. These are slightly more realistic. Again, they have gesso and texture, a more satiny look background. They're 12 by 12 and white frames, very easy to hang. A lot of these are inspired by Round Hill, which is the resort where the exhibition was going to be, or Montego Bay. I think that's the view across Montego Bay. And some of them are just from my memory or imagination of how the sea behaves. And while we're talking about how the sea behaves, I have a piece here which I really enjoyed doing. And this one is called Sea Foam and Sand. It's quite large. It's 26 inches by 32 inches, 32 inches high. There's a lot of movement. It's like when you're standing at the water's edge and all the sea comes tumbling over your toes and then it pulls back again, dragging the sand down there away from you. So you've got the sea foam colours mixed up with sandy colours, a lot of movement, created with big brushes. Again, it's on a box canvas, so you can hang it without a frame, and the sides are painted cream. That one's called Sea Foam and Sand. Okay, turn back to me for a second. Hello again. So that's part of the exhibition so far. I'm now downstairs. I've got some less sea-related ones as well. And this is a nice pair that's framed in glass. Let's turn around again. And we have this pair can be hung side by side or one above the other. You can even turn them around so that they are horizontal. This one can be horizontal or vertical. Likewise, the same with this one. They're framed identically and they're float mounted, which is quite interesting. I painted them on Arches paper, so it's really good quality paper with that lovely deckled edge on the sides there. So you get extra interest. These are classic watercolour. And the size of the frames is 16 by 20. So this one is called Trinidad Fern. And this one is called 2 Monstera leaves. That Swiss cheese plant's proper name is Monstera deliciosa. They're signed on the front. This one is signed so that you can hang it either way if you want to. Okay, so I'm interested to know how many different countries we covered. I've got a couple more pieces just before we go upstairs. This is another sort of standalone little one from the 12 by 12 collection. And this one is called Trees and Water. I love how the texture came out in this one. And I'm going to give you a little glimpse of this one over here, which is a cute little one of gulls that I've done, but unfortunately it's already been snapped up by somebody. But if you like the way this one looks, I'm going to be doing some more in this kind of colour scheme. I'm just going to pan down on my website address. If you want to go and look at the full collection, it's susanclaire.art, which is my website. and then a / and available -inventory. And then there's quite a few collections in there, and you can select the collection that says Rising Tide, and that will give you what are put together for this exhibition. Okay, so I'm going to take you on upstairs now, and I've got a whole lot more upstairs. Give me a wave if you're still there. Don't know who's there and who's not. Okay, so another large piece here. Oh, the light's a bit distracting on that one. This is another 4-foot wide piece, and it's called Rocks by the Sea. Again, I've got lots of lovely movement and texture. It's on this very good quality canvas, and you can see on in there. It should click back in again in a sec. Okay, Rocks by the Sea, 32 inches high and 48 inches wide. Lots of foam and movement. Okay. More sea pieces before we change subjects. Here's a piece that I did, again, it's Round Hill inspired. And this one was kind of key because I really wanted to put lots of texture into this piece, and I've used a lot of natural fibres to do that. And you can see the texture in there. Created the texture with burlap bags from coffee and some cheesecloth. There's even some coffee grounds in here that are making the sand look good. There's lots of, it was a very rough day. There's a section of the walk along to the spa at Round Hill where the pebbles are really rounded and flat and worn, smooth, and in the whole picture. So this one, again, on a box canvas, and it's that good quality canvas. The sides are painted a dusky kind of grey-blue. And the size is 26 inches high and 32 wide. This is called Ironshore Splash. A lot of the coast on the north coast is all ironshore, volcanic rock, and it creates these jagged extrusions of rock where the waves splash up and you get some lovely movement in the water. And I wanted to capture that without going into a lot of detail, and that was quite successful in this one. So this one is 12 by 16 inches and framed with a nice broad piece. Well, similar in that it's semi-abstract. There's this one here called Pink Sunrise, sorry. And it's 12 by 12, framed in a clean white frame. Acrylic with a lot of texture in it. Again, it's got some of these wispy bits from the burlap bags that we bag up the coffee in here in Jamaica. And there's all sorts of other bits of hemp string and stuff like that in there to give it texture. So that one's Pink Sunrise, 12 by 12. Okay, next, whoops. Moving on from our seascapes. So, without much further ado, let's go on to some Caribbean faces. This guy's called Beach Rasta. Nice blocky brushwork and exciting colours. Size is 16 by 16. Next one, this one is called Hat Man. I think everybody who's been on a Caribbean vacation has met somebody like him. He will have just made that hat from the palm fronds. Quite pleased with himself, I think. Here's a lovely lady. I've called this Yogini. She's actually a gorgeous friend of mine, doing her yoga classes. She's in a thoughtful moment there. This one is framed with a plain white frame. They're all 12 by 16 inches. This one I've called Going Places because this guy looks like he's really in a hurry, and And then we have this interesting fellow here, Mr. Dreamcatcher. Now, Mr. Dreamcatcher is actually reserved for somebody. And then we have our lovely soul over here. I called this Respect Rasta because he just looks like such a lovely soul. Some interesting colours in that one. These again are all 12 by 16 on canvas. Hoping everyone's still there. Give me a wave if you're still there. Not sure how good the connection is. Okay, so I'm going to show you now an underwater piece. And this one, again, has a lot of texture, inspired by my scuba diving days. Really did this one from my imagination. And it's called To Bleach or Not to Bleach. And that refers to the fact that a lot of coral is having a hard time these days. And it's all turning white, and when the water gets too hot, well, due to a climate change, then the corals can't function properly and they throw out their little algae that live with them symbiotically. And that means that they lose their colour. Now, this texture here, you might think, oh my God, real coral in there, did she? Well, no, I didn't. It's some plant material that's giving the effect of looking like coral. Has a lacy kind of look to it that's quite intriguing. It's not like any particular coral, I just wanted to get the feel of it. Okay, so that one is, again, 32 inches by 26, and it's on the box canvas. The sides of this canvas are painted grey. Next up, we've got some underwater creatures. So I'm going to pan you through. We're in my studio now upstairs, through my Caribbean faces down there. And here we have a lovely hermit crab. 12 by 16 inches on a canvas. It's a regular stretch canvas. You could hang it as it is with the sides painted turquoise. A lot of texture in the background. And I think he's just quite a lot of fun. Bright colours. Hermit crab. It's not framed yet, so it's watercolour. And another seascape piece. I keep being tempted to turn the frame sideways, of course I can't do that. So the sides are painted turquoise, and there's a lot of gestural movement and blocky work to keep it lively. I'm seeing that the connection's fairly bad with the rest of the pieces, and if you're sticking it out with me, I'm very glad to know. Thanks for watching. We've got a few more to go, so hang on in there. It's quite large. Again, it's 4 feet wide. I'm talking about the top piece here, which is young almond trees and surf. It's called Young Almond Trees. There's a place at Round Hill again where you walk along a path, and there's a lot of surf and surge near to where the pebbles roll up and down. And there are some lovely young trees there growing. I think they're almond trees, but they little see the surf beneath. And these are, again, painted on that beautiful quality canvas. The sides are painted turquoise, and it's a box canvas. There's a lot of texture in the actual work. Gestural brushwork, big brushes. Thanks to Hash Akib for teaching me how to use big brushes properly, and Maria Antonio. And this is some of the brighter colours in there. The overall feeling is quite calm, but with it. Okay, now down the bottom here I've got three sort of landscape type pieces. Got a nice Caribbean palm here with some bright colours in it. I'm noticing that the sun's sort of doing something naughty there. A lot of good colours in there. These are 12 by 16 on a stretch canvas. This one is a guango tree. This is a huge giant tree with a massive trunk and lots of creepers and lianas hanging down from it. You can see some bright colours in there, although the overall feel of it is quite soft. 12 by 16 inches again. Then I have a piece over here I'm going to show you quickly because it's a scene from Round Hill. It's one of the more realistic pieces I have. It's actually got purchased about an hour ago, so I can't offer you this one. But it is one of my favourite ones out of the collection. Although most of the pieces I've done for this work are semi-abstract. Okay. Moving on, let's pan back from the young almonds for a minute. I've got one or two flowers. I know there are some of you watching that love flowers. So I'll just show you some of these. They're unframed. And this one, giant bird of paradise. It's blue and white when it's flowers. It's not the orange bird of paradise. Quite spiky feel to that one. These are painted on Arches paper, so it's very good watercolour with the touches of other things thrown in here and there. So this one is a red and gold vine. It's actually a Thunbergia vine that grows on my neighbour's yard. Version. And then I have some of my heliconias that you've probably seen me paint before, and some Kempshot irises. Okay, I have a few more animals to show you and then we've finished the whole lot. So just a couple more pieces, here we go. It's a little landed on my door frame about a week ago, and so I snapped his picture through the window. And I just couldn't resist adding in a little painting of him. So this painting is 10 by 10, acrylic on canvas, and I've been quite generous with the colour scheme here. It's painted on the sides green so that you could hang it just as is. There's a little tiny one, 8 by 8 inches. Another small canvas is a nice little cove seascape with lots of gestural blocky brushwork. That one's just called Cove. Again, it's the same size, 10 by 10. And we have a turtle here. This turtle is having a spa day. Sometimes the cleaner fish will come and follow the turtle and eat all the algae that's settling, growing on his carapace, on his back. So they're doing each other a favour there. And the turtle gets a clean up and the fish get a meal. So it's one of those relationships that works well in the sea. This one is 12 by 16 inches and it's on a normal stretch canvas and the sides are painted dark blue. So it's called the Hawksbill Spa Day. One more flower. Heliconias painted in a blocky style on acrylic on canvas. That's just called 2 heliconias. And one little cottage over here, a Jamaican cottage. My neighbour Janet Isles is very fond of painting cottages, and a lot of you probably know that she has been a huge help to me and mentor over the years. Little cottage, 12 by 12 inches. And the sides are painted dark grey. This one's called Cockpit Cottage. We live on the edge of the cockpit country. Very much for watching. I'm sorry that was a bit long and the internet connection is not wonderful. But thank you, those of you who are still with me. I really appreciate you watching. And so if you're interested in any of those, or you just want to have another browse through and enjoy them, you can go to my website. So www.susanclaire.art/available inventory. Thanks again for watching and joining me for my birthday. Bye.